Welcome to What's It Like? We're taking a look at Mad Max today. This isn't a review, it's not beginner tips, it's nothing like that. It really is more of a first impression of a game. I basically grab a game and give you an idea of what the story is, the setting, give you an idea what the gameplay is like, and kind of what you're going to need to be doing and whatnot, and what you're going to find, in the first 5 hours or so of the game, maybe even 10. But basically just to give you an idea what the game is like and if it's something that might even interest you whatsoever. But yeah, you're not going to find any tips. You won't find... I'm going to tell you the review of the game probably should get like maybe a 75. It's a good game. It really is. And it's a pretty high good game. It's actually very good. It's just not great. But, the car combat is fantastic. The setting, and the visuals, this really feels like it belongs in the Mad Max universe. It does not follow the movies directly, but there are elements from the movies that you'll find in the world. But, the cinematography is spot on from the movies. It basically, this is the best a Mad Max game is probably ever going to be. Unless they get to make a sequel and make the fighting mechanics actually work a lot better. But the story is very basic. Mad Max is doing his thing, maxing things up, and you get jumped and they take your car. So the main part, you're basically trying to get your car back, but that ain't gonna work. You basically got to build a brand new car, and you run into some people that are gonna help you. And this is the main bad guy. But as you can see, they pretty much nail the look and feel of a Mad Max kind of universe, especially after the new movie Fury Road had come out. This basically launched around the same time as the movie, if not exactly at the same time. The same launch day, I think. So it's really cool. The characters are quite colorful. Max, sure, he's got an Australian accent and doesn't really say too much. But that's kind of on par for the course, ain't it? Max doesn't usually have a whole lot of dialogue. So, yeah, they take your car and basically that's kind of your first idea, is to get your car back. The way you start off, you're not going to. The game takes the first 5 hours or so to basically introduce you to everything. So, gathering water, eating dog food for health, or eating any kind of food for health. You can even run over some of the little animals that you see running around, like the lizards and whatnot. And so basically, your main goal is getting a new car. And this is Chum Bucket.
Come and see. Come and see, you'll say. The dream, the hallucination become truth. The angel made steel. By the fire that moves the piston, by the tranny on all high, by the cam and the U-joint blessed be, here she lies, the magnum opus.
So yeah, you're basically building a brand new car, and he's a great little character. He basically worships auto body parts, and he's the perfect fit for you because, well, you need a car. He's really smart, he can put a lot of different stuff together, and he's just actually a fun character. The actor seems to really have a lot of fun with this character. And it feels like it's a character that would be in this world. Mad Max, of course, also has an Australian accent, which really kind of adds to it. But yeah, Chum Bucket is a pretty fun character.
Statically upgraded with Chum Bucket overdrive, coils, springs, shocks.
So what ends up happening is you end up wandering into a stronghold, and this is your introduction to strongholds in general.
It's me, Chum Bucket! Master wrench jockey, and skilled blackfinger who's an acolyte to the angel combustion who beseeches you.
Who's your driver? Does he have any knowledge of medicine?
I fear not. Your pain must linger. I'm sorry, but he is a driver of otherworldly skills. Yes, you see.
Why would I need a driver of otherworldly skills? Scrap monkey!
Please! Please, we aim to enter the Dead Barrens, and all my gear, it was destroyed by infidel scavengers, and we need to heal this machine. If you let us work here, why, with his saintly wheel hands and my black fingers, we will deliver to you a bona fide grease pit! Praise be the prophet!
Let him inside.
So he's, like I said, he's a pretty fun character. The cinematography, it's great. Camera angles, like I said, they really nail the Mad Max kind of vibe. So, the gameplay. Well, what does the game actually play like? So here we go. Yeah, you get into balloons and you go to vantage outposts. There's an overall threat, and you can lower that by taking out convoys and snipers and minefields and the scarecrows that are set up, and obviously the encampments as well. So as you take them out, the threat level ends up going down and you can move on. There's different kinds of camps too. The Top Dog camp gets you a paint scheme, oil transfer camps, oil pump camps. They all let you need to destroy an item and whatnot, and they have more goodies and stuff for you. So yeah, this game, as people have been mentioning it, it does have the overused mechanic of, get up to a high advantage point and scope out the land and whatnot. It's here, it uses, hot air balloons, and, the first one you just jump right into, but the game actually changes things up a little bit later on. Like the second one you come across, it might need some fuel, so you gotta put some into one of the tanks, and the next one you come across, is actually tethered down, so you got to use the harpoon on your car and actually rip those lines off, and then you can use it. So it does change things up a little bit. They don't make it too annoying, and quite honestly, it seems like the developers made it so that there's not a huge amount of these things. I mean, it's basically one per area. Once you mark the stuff on the map, you're pretty good to go. That's a scarecrow. Those are the things that you destroy. And as you can see, as you scope them out, it gets marked on your map, for new areas, and you basically end up clearing, the fog of war, and it gives you an idea of how difficult some of these are. Like that was a second difficulty. The sniper's perch doesn't really give much. There's not much of a zoom on this screen, but it's what you kind of expect. But like I said, they changed things up a little bit, so you're not exactly doing the same thing, or it's not as easy. There's usually enemies there, and like I said, you can see here, it's kind of a nice little cool effect. If you miss something, you can always zoom in on it. Now, the map itself is actually a pretty decent size. That's Jeet, that's the area, that's the first stronghold you start at. As you can see, you got plenty of stuff to do. You got, there's some scarecrows that you need to take out. That's the transfer tank camp, you need to take that out. That's a project part that you need in order to add. You can add different abilities to the encampments themselves. I'll get to that in just a second. That's a Griffa. He gives you ability points, essentially. There's different little loot and stuff. But this is kind of the starting area. This is your first area. And as you can see, it's a pretty decent size. And you can actually go outside this world. The game is meant to get harder and harder as you venture out of bounds, but the rewards are supposed to be actually even better. So back at your stronghold, you actually have upgrades. Like here you'll see Maggot Farm. Just hold down, and it'll actually track the locations of those parts that you need in order to get that Maggot Farm going. So you can get other upgrades at your strongholds. Like I said, this is the first one. But you can get the upgrades for, I think, what is that? That's an oil well. Large storage of capable water. So this actually will refill my canteen with water every time I come back to this stronghold. There's ones for ammo as well. You can refill all your ammo and whatnot. So they're pretty good upgrades to get because it helps you out. And yeah, so you get to see descriptions on all the different characters and whatnot. And it's kind of fun, they got their little voices, and like I said, the characters, they fit pretty good in the world of Mad Max. If anything, they're more enigmatic than Beyond Thunderdome, quite honestly. There's some really well-acted characters. I mean, sure, Max doesn't say a whole lot, but that's par for the course. But yeah, you can even upgrade your jacket and whatnot. There's arm wraps and ammo belts and whatnot. The only kind of downside is the fact that it seems it's a bit grindy. Like, as you can see, I've played for, I believe, up to 6 hours or so at this point, maybe 7, and I haven't got really to the next bar in order to unlock, like, a new jacket. Yeah, you're probably looking at, you know, probably a good 7 to 10 hours before you can even upgrade your character to the next level. I mean, you can change the beard and whatnot, but yeah, it just seems a little bit grindy, you know. I mean, parts on your cars, there's a lot of different parts. I mean, engines and side burners, but you're not going to see that stuff in your first, you know, easy 7 to 10 hours. You know, there's missions linked to it, but there's a lot of stuff. You can increase the repair speed and other stuff like that. So the combat is the thing that everyone is kind of disappointed with. And yeah, it's a little bit sluggish. It doesn't move quite as smooth. It's nowhere near as deep as something like Batman. But then again, Batman would have the focus on the combat. This game clearly has the focus on the car combat, which is rightfully so. But yeah, I mean, you know, there is a bit of a brutality to it all, and the finishing moves, and it definitely feels like it belongs in the Mad Max universe. You're not going to have Hong Kong, you know, style cinema action sequences that are very well choreographed. It fits, but you know, the combat it's there. And it's pretty basic. I basically did all those fighting moves with just the X button. Y is only used for parrying. You can't use it for an additional attack. The B button is always your shotgun. You can't use it for any other kind of additional attack because you just instantly will take out the shotgun. So you're basically just hitting X repeatedly and then holding it down for a strong attack in certain spots. So yeah, kind of disappointed with that, but I mean, truly the car combat is where the game shines. And there's a bit of hand-holding, you know, at the very beginning, but you're going to want to kind of do things in order, you know, for your first 5 hours or so, because that's where everything gets unlocked. That's where you get your sniper rifle. That's where you get your harpoon. That's where you kind of get your first car body, and you choose that. So you kind of need to do things in order, but you know, so you can unlock the flare gun too, so that Chum Bucket can get called to you. But I mean, the harpoon and car combat, you can pull people out of their vehicles. I mean, later you need to pull the doors off, and then later still you'll find out that their doors are actually all armored, so you actually need to pull other pieces off. So they actually thought of the car combat really well. So as you go up, you know, you need to increase the power of your harpoon and whatnot. And it's just really fun. Like here, I ripped the door off, and I didn't get a chance. I didn't add any spikes. If you add spikes to the body of your car, it'll actually kill these guys when they tried to jump on top of it, but I didn't. So they're stabbing me pretty good with spears. But yeah, you know, it's just, I mean, it's a little bit of satisfying when you do the melee combat, but it's all about the car combat. That's where you want to use your upgrades. You'll unlock new moves and whatnot, but they don't seem to be too important. Like I said, weapons don't come with you into the car, so if you have a melee weapon, it doesn't come with. But yeah, you know, it's actually a pretty fun game. You know, I'd probably give it a score like 75. You know, it's not a great game. But it's pretty good. It's really fitting. It's a licensed movie title, or it's a licensed movie franchise in a sense. But, you know, you can grab other people's vehicles and whatnot, you know, which ends up disguising yourself. So it's a pretty good, fun time. If any of this stuff looks interesting to you, I'd say check it out. This game will give you a lot of stuff to do. It just necessarily isn't as polished as like a GTA. But hey, take it easy.